The validation is the most annoying part of any application development, and so we'll see how we can validate our request form and in the simplest way, and how we can display the error messages in our view. So very simple, it's very pretty easy. And here is our web controller just for remember, uh, we have a basic getting our view home, and we have a home controller with method store and name route is email. And in a home controller we are just getting the request and item our request. And and in a home we are putting submitting our form. The route is email and with the CSRF token. Okay, so let's to remember just to access, and here our email, and it is submitting. And okay, let's head over to our controller, and the method is that we have to instantiate this function, this validate, and we have to pass our request. So the validate instance will get the request parameters, request, and give the array. So just simply pass email that we are getting from our input form, field name, email, and give it re required, and it must be email. So there are a lot of validation rules, and validation rules in some. We'll just go to Laravel documentation and we can check it in the rules. Okay, we are validating our email, which is required and must be email. Okay, let's submit our form, and it's it's getting the request. And let's write down only the request email, and let's make it our input type, not email, just input text. And just put submit your form. Nothing is happened, and the page is refresh, you see, and the validation error is not displaying. So how we can display the error? Okay, just create a normal label that you do with the form validation. And so label for email, and put email, put your input and here, and we can check it. So we have an email label, and okay, under that label, so where from this error is coming, and we can first see how the validation is work in Laravel and where from it is come. Okay, under controller, this is our controller, and it extends our base controller, which is controller. Here, this controller is base controller is using the validate request trait, and where from it comes, it's come from use illuminate foundation validates request. And if we go further in deep and find this trait, so in a validate trait, so this trait is using the method validate. This is validate back, and if we go to validate request, find it. So here is the method validate request. So public function validate. So it's get the request of variable, and the request variable has a message array back that the error, it's validating, and okay, let's go to our trait. Mm, so, so I want to see the error back, the session, the all the errors that are stored in session, the messages create, and where it is not in the trait. Let's see our kernel middleware, and let's check our kernel here in kernel protected middleware. So validate post size, and here it is start session, illuminate session middleware, and it starts session class, or validate post request, or yeah. So validate, not this set. Here will be the start arrays farm session. So authentication class. So share error farm session, and let's go deep to find out where it comes from. These session share farm session. So class share farm session. So you see here is the array which is storing the all the session messages. Messages get errors, you view error bag, and all the error bag will be stored in a session, and we can get these errors. So the purpose is to go into deep and check where come from these uh, sessions errors, and where is the what is actually happening behind the scene in our validation process. And let's close it and come here to our home. And now we have know that we have every view have an errors of array that is default by Laravel, and we can iterate these errors. And so create div, and let's display our Laravel. If uh, if errors errors by using helper function has, and if error has email So if error, so if error has email, and let's end if, and so if error has email, then we can print it the excuse me, errors first. So if error array has an email that we are sending for our farm name email, name underscore token, where is the label email? Mm, let's cut it from here, and we have deleted our email field, and let's create input type text name email type email name email. Okay, so this email, that if the error has email field and errors first, so this first in error bag, just print the first, and let's see what it is right now happening. So we have an email. Okay, just put it, and the email field is required. Now we see the uh, error is displaying, and something wrong with the layout, so it's not a deal. Okay, put Rana, and let's see what error is display. So the email field is required. Okay, and it must be Rana submit. What it is happening? Label email input. Sorry, so I have just in label email and input is email type submit. Click fresh. Give. So email field, the email must be a valid email address. So you see, we can display our error, and we can validate through our validate method of Laravel. So we can, so there is a, you can check the Laravel documentation. Laravel documentation, the number of authentication validation rules is there, and let's see validation quick start. So in the end of this page, there must be a set here. So these are the available validation rules, and we are checking our email. So email, alphabet, numeric, any rule that you can use, you just see it and read the documentation. So that's it.